Welcome to episode 10 in Discovery Health's digital wellbeing video series, the 10-part series that's designed with the whole family in mind. Parents and caregivers need to know how to manage the serious risks to a child's mental and physical safety that exist online, and teach their kids to do the same. I'll be empowering you with all you need to know on this front in each of our 10 videos. Today, we are talking about stranger contact online, and we'll be hearing from Luc Lamprecht, one of South Africa's top child protection and development specialists, who deals with the impact and consequences of online stranger contact with kids. I was playing an online game recently. I experimented by registering as a 13-year-old, and within minutes I was chatting with a 26-year-old located on the other side of the globe. The stranger was soon telling me about his weekend activities and the people he meets through the game, and started asking me for quite personal information in a seemingly harmless way. Was I witnessing the start of an online grooming conversation firsthand? Would you ever open the front door to your home and give strangers unsupervised access to your child? No? Well, of course not. And that's the mindset we as parents or caregivers need to have when it comes to monitoring who gets let into our child's online world and who they are engaging or playing with. You may think that your child would never be enticed to talk with a stranger online or fall victim to an online sexual predator. But online grooming starts slowly, with an adult building up a child's trust with the intention of exploiting them or causing them harm. The harm can take the form of sexual abuse, online or in person, or exploitation to get sexually explicit images from your child. Children may be coerced into saying or sending images to a stranger that they feel ashamed of or are too afraid to admit to. These feelings are then used by the predator to manipulate them more and more. We raise our children to be kind and polite to adults, so often when they are given positive affirmation by a stranger online, they assume they too need to respond in return. Now, before you say this would never happen to my child, consider these two stats from a recent survey in which Be in Touch collected data from over 1,000 young people. 75% reported having been contacted by a stranger online by grade 9, and 35% of them reported having been sent an inappropriate message or picture by a stranger. This is what Luc had to say when we asked him how important it is that parents and caregivers be aware of the potential dangers of stranger contact online.
It's extremely important because I think what has happened with online life is that the concept of who is a stranger has changed dramatically. So if you look, I'll go out and do a talk at a school and I'll say, how many of you online have got 100 or more, whatever, friends or followers? And they put their hands up. I mean, I've got young people out there with thousands of people looking at what they do. So the idea that someone is a stranger has become almost foreign to young people, whereas previously we'd know exactly who a stranger is, or we get a bad feeling about them. So the idea that we educate our children about what a modern stranger is really important. And really a modern stranger is someone you have never met in the real world. So if they are not someone you can have a sort of a physical picture of in the world, so in other words, where you've met them, locate them in the real world, you've actually seen them, they're flesh and blood creatures, they are strangers. Because lying behind that so-called friend or follower on Facebook is a lot of often boosts to children's self-esteem. So if we look at the grooming process, what happens is you got someone, oh, you look really beautiful, or oh, that's a wonderful post, or if the young person is struggling, kind of coming in and saying, no, I can really help you. So there's a sense that they're online as a part of a child's broader sense of belonging and social group. And what they need to recognize is that unless they can locate them in the world, they are a stranger. And as a result, what they tell them, what they send them, what they receive from them, what they open that has been sent to them must all be treated with great caution. And you have to right up front give children the ability to say no in safe social circumstances, because we don't even give children opportunity to say no in safe circumstances. So we'll say to children, oh, you must say no. but then they go and visit Granny. Granny gives like sloppy kisses. The kids don't like it. They're teenagers. They don't want to kiss Granny. Mom freaks out because it's dad's mom, and going to say that, you know, the daughter-in-law has raised a disrespectful boy, and you better, now she looks like a bad mom, you know, to her mom-in-law, you better kiss your granny because it's disrespectful. So we override them saying no to us. And then we can't all of a sudden, when this powerful person comes, suddenly say that you must say no, because they have no context for saying no. And when they do say no, they tend to get into trouble. Whereas in this case, saying no gets you out of potential trouble. So it's giving them a vocabulary for these things. It's really important. The most frequent one is WhatsApp. Okay, so that's why if you've got WhatsApp and your child is communicating with coaches and teachers, especially under lockdown, needs to be a group, there needs to be an admin, there needs to be a parent present, should not be individual. The others are things like Discord in gaming. So there's a lot of stuff happening in Discord. We've seen a lot in Snapchat. Snapchat, because of the nature of Snapchat, obviously lends itself to to grooming. We see I've had quite a lot on Instagram where there's guys pretending to be 17-year-old boys, but they're actually 50-year-old men asking girls for pictures. They send them, that then blackmail them, etc. And then obviously Facebook isn't as widely used by the younger population. So it's social media, messaging platforms, and gaming communication platforms like Discord. Keep your eye on your children, because your eyes and your ears are your greatest tools, and your relationship with your children is the greatest tool. Be curious about what the world they're occupying in the real world. Be curious about their online world. Because if they disappear into that world and they get lost, getting them out is like, going down the rabbit hole. Sometimes they've gone down so far, it's very scary to drag them out. So prevention is better than cure. You are not your children's friends. First of all, what does an adult want a child or a teenager as a friend for? You must get your own friends. And your children must have their own friends. You're not running a popularity contest. Having a child is like having your heart walk around outside your body for the rest of your life. It will get trampled on. But you are there to make sure your children do the right things, not the things that are easy.
If you have a strong intuition that something is not right about your child's online activity, remember that your child's safety always overrides their privacy. If your child's behavior changes, or you notice them being more secretive than usual around their device use, address this immediately by having an open conversation about what they are seeing online. If they respond with severe distress, this may be a red flag that you need to gently probe further and review their online interactions on their devices. Managing their device activity is the first step to accessing evidence that may prove they have been exposed to inappropriate contact with a stranger. Saving screenshots, images, or videos to report any concerning online stranger activity is also an important step in taking action to stop access and report the culprit. We've said it before in this video series, and we will say it again. It is so important to install parental filters on your children's devices to alert you to any unwanted or potentially dangerous interactions between your child and strangers. Do this before your child has any access to the device or platform they will use, whether it's a smartphone, smart television, social media platforms, or gaming sites. Make parental controls a normal and routine part of device use and conversations in your family. Visit the Discovery Health Mental Health Information Hub to access more resources to help you and your family to navigate the complex landscape of digital parenting.